Hello, everybody. It's time. We're getting ready for our challenge. It has finally begun. So if you're here live, I encourage you just say hello really quickly. Just type in a line and say, "Hey, Beate, my name is so and so. I'm from whatever, Missouri, New York, Los Angeles, and tell me what your business is." So I'm actually working on two computers at the same time, so I can see your comments as well as, interact with you directly. So let's get started with our first challenge. So you see that I have posted a question, and the first question to you is, what is it that you want? And in the challenge, and the reason, again, I'm kind of going back and forth because I'm watching, sort of your comments. So say hello, comment, introduce yourself as we are sort of going through it. It should be popping up right here so I can see what you're saying. The first question or the first challenge for you is, what is it that you want? And in order for you to follow along, I encourage you right now, if you haven't already done so, to get the Profit Share Challenge Accountability Guide. And, as you can see, I fill it out myself. And we are going to be going through this. You get this accountability guide at growtharchitecture.biz. So go ahead and download that right now because you kind of can't follow along with it. Hi, Ian. Yes, sales and marketing automation. And he's really good. David, Dallas. Yes, David, I see that you've been participating already in all the prep works. I'm really excited for you to be here. And now, once you have this accountability guide, I want you to go to the first page where it says Challenge Day 1. And where it says question, I want you to write in, what will your business look like in 3 years? What is it that you want? And let's go over why that matters and why that is even a part of a challenge. So I want you to imagine that every day when we start our day, we get started on react to stuff that happened before. We look at our desk, and your desk probably looks like mine, with papers and folders and things to follow up. And so you just start and you go bam, 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 bam all day long. Then you get a little bit distracted. You're going to do a little bit of Facebook, going to watch some CNN or whatever other thing you're doing. And so we do this day after and day after. We are doing some of the cold calling. We're not doing as much cold calling as we should do. We are doing some networking. We're not doing as much networking as we're doing. And we kind of bumble along, but nothing really ever happens, so we get a job, we lose a job, we find a client, we lose a giant client. But what is it that's going to take it? What's it that we have to do to make that first big impact, to have that change? So the first thing you do is you figure out what it is that you want. So if I were to ask you, what is it that you want? You might be saying to me things like, I want to be successful. And then I'm going to say, yawn, because guess what? Who doesn't want to be successful? But what does that actually mean? What's success for you? And then you're going to say, well, I want to be making a lot of money. And then I'm going to say, well, that's really lovely, but that's really boring. What does that even mean? How much is a lot of money? Is a lot of money, is that $100,000? Is that $500,000? Is that $1 million? And then what are you going to be even doing with that money that you're making? So what is success for you? So that's the first step in really mapping out anything in a business, is to recognize that we are I don't want to say your own worst enemy, because that's also a trite statement, but that we are really in our own way by failing to gain the clarity of what it is that we're trying to achieve. So I'm going to give you an example so you know exactly what I mean. So you know that I'm the growth architect, and I run a training company that's specialized in entrepreneur skills training and leadership, and specifically balanced leadership. So when I think about what, at the end of the day, right, when it's all said and done, what I want my work to to have done is I walk to my tombstone, and on my tombstone it will say, here's a woman who was instrumental in defining women leadership. So everything that I do gets extrapolated from that, where I look at this and say, is this going to support this big vision? Of course I support men as well, but I'm an immigrant, I'm a single mom, I've raised my child by myself, I've been an entrepreneur, a one sole business owner of a corporation. As you know, I built and sold my business to Bill Gates. I worked in the corporation, in a Bill Gates corporation. I saw what happens in these corporations. And then I realized that there's a lot of information that really needs to be shared. How business is done, how the big boys are playing, and then, of course, how we can help women to really advance to these better businesses and really a life, not a better life, but what constitutes a better life for yourself, because everybody has their own different, unique way to look at it. So hi, Maureen, you're an intuitive artist and channel. Hello, very nice to meet you. So again, if you're joining us, please, type in where you're coming in from and sort of what your job title is, so I have a little bit of an idea of who is watching live. So now back to you. Now in the Profit Share Challenge Day number 1, think about what is it that you want. So take a moment and really write that down and make some notes about it. And I'm going to give you more things to think about. So do you want a business that makes a certain amount of money? So put that amount of money in there. Do you want a business that is employing a lot of people and has people, and sort of gives back to the community by providing employment? Do you want a company that is a social conscious company that gives back to the community and makes financial contributions? And think about what you want that legacy of yours to be. What are they going to be saying about you? Do you help people to be better? But if they're better, what exactly does that mean? They not just like lose the 10 pounds or look good, but what does that really mean on a much, much deeper level? And the reason this matters and why this is a challenge right now is because a lot of times when we advertise ourselves or marketing our services, we are putting the camera on ourselves and we look at what we offer, and then we're presenting this to our clients. And then we say, I am professional, I show up on time, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. And then the client thinks that you're an egoistic, narcissistic maniac, because all they hear about is this just accumulation of I statements. And I bet if I go on your website right now that I'll be seeing quite a few of these I statements that only talk about yourself. So in the challenge, what we are now doing over the course of the next week is we're going to take that camera and we're turning it around and we're putting the focus on our clients. And I want you, once you determine what you want, you're going to crawl into the heads of your clients and really try to understand what it is that they want. Hi, Cara, you are a marketing service business and you want to grow that into your main income source. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so no trite cliche statements allowed. So you cannot use standard statements I've heard 1,000 times before. So don't say, again, I want to be successful, I want to make people happy, I'm of service. I want you to be very specific. What exactly are you trying to achieve for your clients? What are they sort of, getting away? What is it that you want in your business? You want to make a difference, right? You want to be successful, but what does that mean for you? So be super, super specific. And again, we're talking about adding this to the accountability guide that is free for you to download. You go to growtharchitecture.biz to download it. It's some, and I do go overboard a little bit. I think it's some 20 pages. But, once I get into it, I really think about what I can do to help you and support you to break through this most important piece in the business and learn how to talk about yourself and what you do, and it not sounding so just horrible, right? So I've put this all together. The reason I had to put it on a website is because we had, and this is a true story, on Thursday, we sat down and we went through this whole program, and we did a Facebook Messenger action, and everything worked, and I had, Zoom figured out, and it looked great. We tested it on Friday. Everything was wonderful. And then Facebook changed everything on Saturday. And so when I tested everything yesterday, nothing worked. And I'm like in this panic where I'm going like, I have to deliver what I promised you. So we couldn't make it work. Nothing was delivering. So I had to set up growtharchitecture.biz to put the guide on there. If you go there, it's going to ask you where you want me to send the guide, and you're going to put an email in it so I can actually deliver it to you. Please do not unsubscribe immediately. Because that doesn't make even any sense. But, at least wait for the challenge and see what else is part of the challenge so you can participate. Because as I said, stuff happens. I want to be able to reach you and make sure that you get the most out of it. And that's pretty much it. Hi, Stafford, photographer from Seattle. Always great to see you. So let's go over this. Do you have any questions so far? So go ahead and type some comments into the fields. If you have any questions, is the challenge clear? And, just let's chat about that a little bit. The next step for you is going to be to now take this and really take a couple of minutes. It doesn't take a lot. It might only be like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and think about, what is it that you want? You want to provide for your family? You want to, buy the new house? Do you want to take them on vacations? Do you want to be known as the authority in your subject? Do you want to be world famous? Do you want to be, the guy that everybody's relying on, or the woman that is helping people to detangle the messes of their lives by providing a very specific service? So I want you to be really, really specific. And then once you have sort of done, and I have room for notes in here, once you're sort of done and you honed it down to some maybe like 2 or 3 main elements, go ahead and type it into a comment into the Facebook group where the Profit Share Challenge is. Because during the day, as you're working on this, and I know we have people in other time zones that cannot be here live right now, but they will be coming over the next couple of hours. So you have about 7 hours to complete this. At 4 o'clock Los Angeles time, we are going to go live again, and I will address the things that you are saying in your notes or in your comments. So for example, if you're giving these statements of what it is that you want, what you want your business to look like, and they're still like these trite, cliche statements, then I'm going to help you to really understand what I mean and why this matters, and we're going to do some live mentoring on your stuff. So it is critical that you please participate and that you are entering, the comments into the Facebook group, so that way I can interact with you. And if you are not participating, then you're not maximizing your time, and you're not, potentially getting something out of it. And the second part of my question is, what is it that you want, is now for you to think about, what do you even want to get out of this? What would make this a successful challenge? It's a noisy world. Everybody's is screaming. You're here right now. You're listening to this. You're watching this. And why not make this count? Why not make this matter? So what is it that you want to take away from it? What would make this successful? Is it that if you have one idea, or if I can help you to just figure out this one thing, would that be a successful event for you? Would this be a successful challenge? Because it's not going to be a lot of time, and it's very conversational. I am literally live here in Los Angeles, not recorded. We are talking about it, right there at the moment. Oh, I like it when you do these likes and emojis, and because that way I see, you know, like little bubbles coming up, and I think it's very cool, makes me feel very good. So feel free to do a lot more of that, because that shows me that you're participating and that you're here. So let's see, do we have any other comments here that are, I'm not seeing any other comments so far. So I hope this challenge is clear for you, and you are, you know, part of it. You're here now. Make it count again. And for the final time today, there is an accountability guide. It is not mandatory. You can still do the challenge without the guide, but it would be so much easier for you to just go ahead and fill this out. Why? Because then at the end of all of this, you have a record of it, and you can go back and say, what did I say about this? What did I say about this? And then when it comes to implementation and you implementing stuff into your business, then you have a record of it, and you can just go ahead and say, okay, what did I say? What did she say? And you have your notes to refer from. So again, you get the accountability guide at growtharchitecture.biz. I'm going to close now, and I want to say I appreciate you. Hi, Shanae. Always good to see you. Maureen, of course, it's my pleasure. And I can't wait to see your comments for the first challenge. I see you again at 4 o'clock my time, Los Angeles time, to go over the challenges. And let's grow, everybody. Bye.